Okay. Whoa! Hey guys, Kyle the Otaku here, and I was in the middle of editing the next Shelf of the Damned when this dropped. I worked on Shelf of the Damned last night for a couple hours, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep, I'm gonna wake up, then I'm gonna get back to work, and then the trailer dropped. And I knew that from the first thumbnail, this wasn't going to be what a lot of people were expecting it to be, because I could tell just from the thumbnails that there was like a cheaper quality to it. But I knew the second the trailer dropped that I had to drop everything. I had to stop whatever it was I was doing and hop on this video, because I feel like this movie is going to get a lot of smoke from fans of like the original Ron Perlman films and stuff like that. People who are used to the more like what we're used to seeing cinematic Hellboy being, and I felt like I should hop on here and clear the air. Why? Because I'm a massive Hellboy fan in both cinematic and comic book page. Fuck! So this new Hellboy adaptation is directed by Brian Taylor, writer and director behind the Crank duology, the Gerard Butler action film Gamer, 9 episodes of the action comedy series Happy on Sci-Fi, the horror comedy Mom and Dad starring The Cage and Selma Blair, which I find kind of funny because there's a Hellboy connection right there, and 2011's Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, which I kind of have a soft spot for. I have a soft spot for both Ghost Rider movies. Come at me. And from what I can gather, the script was written by Hellboy creator and writer Mike Mignola himself and his co-writer and friend Chris Golden. So we're kind of getting a script from the Hellboy writers. This would also explain the tone that I felt from the trailer. I can see most people saying, what is this, a horror movie? This isn't what Hellboy is. Hellboy's an action franchise, which, granted, the movies are, and there are some actions in the comics, but if this is how you feel, you've clearly never read the comics. Now, again, there is action in the comics, but for the most part, Hellboy is a horror franchise. The stories in the comics are way more subdued and chill, focusing more on the atmosphere and the true horrors of the occult instead of the punching, shooting, and smashing of monsters. Frankly, for me, the tone taken for the movie is well-fitting and accurate to the tone of the actual story. The Crooked Man is easily the darkest and most disturbing of the Hellboy short stories, with witches that behave and act more like the witches from Robert Eggers' The Witch. So to dismiss the film for the change in tone is a disservice, in my opinion. It's like punishing a film for staying true to the source material. The quality of the film, I can kind of understand. The film looks way lower in budget than the original films, or hell, even the 2019 movie. And I understand if this'll push people away. I get it. For me, it works with the tone. It works with the tone for me. Again, this is not an action movie. There will be action in it, but action isn't the main focus point. This is a horror movie based on one, if not the most horror-focused Hellboy stories. It makes sense the budget wouldn't be as massive, since there aren't any huge set pieces or massive CGI monsters for Hellboy to fight. There's no cult to destroy, no blood witch opening the gates of hell. It's just Hellboy and company trying to free a small, secluded mountain village from the clutches of witches and the soul-collecting Crooked Man. That's it. Jack Kesey is our Hellboy this time around. He was in Intruders, 2018's Death Wish, Baywatch, Deadpool 2, recently Murders at Hollow Creek, and the hit TV show The Strain, which was made by Guillermo del Toro. There's another Hellboy connection right there. He has a decent build, but he's also kind of the slimmest Hellboy we've had on screen so far. The makeup is probably my least favorite so far, but at least it looks properly applied, unlike 2019's where the seams around the mouth weren't properly blended. The overall design of Hellboy looks pretty plain, which is maybe my only negative that I have. I'm a stickler for accuracy when it comes to adaptations, especially ones that are based on franchises that I'm a huge fan of. Just look at my trailer breakdown for the reboot of The Crow. I tore that fucking movie apart. But unlike The Crow, I see something in this trailer that The Crow was missing. Respect. There is a respect to the original story here. Enough respect to capture the tone and the horror instead of looking at focus groups and looking at what people liked about the other movies, because it's not about them. Okay, it's not about those movies. Those movies do not apply to this one, because it's about Hellboy, the Crooked Man. The original story published in 2008. To add unnecessary action sequences and other monsters for Hellboy to fight outside of the witches, their summons, and the Crooked Man would feel like an insult. So unlike everyone else that I feel will have a mostly negative outlook on this film, I haven't been this excited since Hellboy 2. As a fan of the comics and this story in particular, I see nothing but the right decisions being made. I'm sorry. Will I be in the minority? More than likely. Will I care? Absolutely not. Y'all can hate all you want. I'm gonna be over here absolutely loving the shit out of it. I do not fucking care. The last Hellboy movie we've had that had this sort of focus on horror rather than the action 24/7 was Hellboy Blood and Iron. Yeah, the animated film. The animated film took itself more in a horror direction than the live-action ones. I'm a fan of horror, I'm a fan of folk horror, and this is essentially a folk horror film with Hellboy in the center. And frankly, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they do. It's gonna be... So many people are gonna fucking hate it, and meanwhile, I'm just gonna be over here like, fine. Enjoy dumpstering this movie. I will be its knight at the front lines on the vanguard, ready to defend the fuck out of it. Unless, of course, the movie does wind up sucking, in which case I'll probably still kind of enjoy it because it's still Hellboy, So, yeah, I'm gonna get back to work on Shelf of the Damned, try and get that out this week. More than likely after I edit and upload this, which shouldn't be that long of a task. It's a short video, so yeah, Hellboy the Crooked Man, looking forward to it, even though everyone else probably isn't going to be. So yeah, see you guys next time.